Kia ora. Today, we are going to talk about the sustainability of the tourism industry in New Zealand, and its future scenarios for 2048. Tourism plays a very important role in the New Zealand economy, in terms of producing goods and services, and creating employment opportunities. Every day, international visitors, and New Zealanders on holiday, are spending $99 million per day locally. It might be on a bed for the night, a rental car, buy a bus or train ticket, or buying meals. From that spending, businesses earn a profit, employees earn a wage, and the government collects GST, which is pumped back into the country's economy, for the schools, hospitals, roads and services. In fact, the number of visitors to the country has been increasing rapidly over the past few years, and this growth is expected to go on, thanks to the dedicated strategies and policies of its tourism ministry. New Zealand government is committed to ensuring that natural environment, as one of the main assets of its tourism sector, is well conserved and is taking all necessary action to make this happen. According to Eugenie Sage, the conservation minister, tourist numbers were expected to increase to 5.1 million by 2025, and 6 out of the top 10 attractions for tourists in New Zealand were in the natural environment. It will soon be more expensive to visit New Zealand when a new proposal for raising money for building more infrastructure, nature reservation, and immigration cost is put into play in the second half of 2019. However, according to the government, the financial burden should not be rested solely on New Zealander, and visitors should share, by paying more, to contribute to the infrastructure they use, and to protect the environment they enjoy. The policy is considered as part of government larger initiative, in what is known as New Zealand Tourism Sustainability Commitment. The government is committed to both ensuring the sustainable growth in tourism sector and providing high-quality experiences to the visiting tourist. Current technological development offered an obvious solution to improve tourists' conveniences, such as the use of artificial intelligence in the traveling and hotel industry. As a disruptive technology, its adoption required a well-planned intervention to minimize the risk of any negative effect. The commitment to sustainability and the technological advancement, such as artificial intelligence, are two driving factors that can change the course of the country's tourism development, with various level of impacts on the county's future. The combination of these two factors may present the following future scenarios in the New Zealand tourism sector, on how they affect the life of the people in this country. In this scenario, 30 years from now, New Zealand will see a massive increase in its tourism revenue. Businesses will be experiencing sustainable growth through ongoing profitability, innovation, quality improvement, and investment. International and domestic visitors' experience of New Zealand overwhelmingly meets or exceeds expectations. Tourism businesses actively engage with their visitors to ensure that the visitor experience is enhanced and adverse impacts are reduced. The involvement of technology products provides convenience to tourists. The future technologies such VR plus tourism will improve the reservation and payment system, including the provision of real-time language translation equipment. Local art, identity, architecture, and the cuisine will be widely known across the world. Tourism businesses actively support and champion ecological restoration initiatives. In Scenario 2, the country's environment, which becomes the backbone of its tourism industry, will suffer, as business trying to gain more profit, without considering the environmental cost. Local cultures and heritage will be exploited to meet the tourists' satisfaction. The unemployment rate will increase. The rapid automation of the tourism sector will result in the loss of job for many citizens. The government will face strong opposition from environmental activists and civil society groups. The situation will create resentment from local who are felt marginalized, and this will lead to the social unrest that will affect the security and safety of other citizens and the visiting tourists. Not only tourism will no more be the country's main economic drivers, its agricultural sector will also suffer the consequences. Eventually, the government and all stakeholders will be forced to redefine the country's tourism products as it has lost its environmental attractiveness. In Scenario 3, the service sector will be completely automated, leaving less room for human control. This will raise concerns on privacy and data security, and as a result, more people will be afraid of using the automated service. Unemployment will rise rapidly, so as the number of crimes. There will be more poor people, forcing the government to spend more on a quick and short-term solution, such as social benefits scheme. The government will face a huge resistance from the local people and the green activists. Business realizes the unsustainable consequences, but it might be too late to fix the situation. New Zealand environment will be ruined, and as a result, both tourism and agricultural sectors will collapse, forcing the government to focus on other source of income while undergoing a chaotic situation. In general, the consequences will be quite similar to those in Scenario 2 in terms of economic, social, and environmental aspects. However, the extent of damage and economic breakdown will be far more devastating, while leaving lesser time and room to find and implement any alternative solution. So, what are the possible solutions to avoid the catastrophe? Considering the current situation of New Zealand tourism sector, and after looking at the three possible scenarios, based on the different level of commitment on the two driving forces, we observed that the first scenario provides a better future. We would recommend to the policymakers and all other stakeholders to consider the ideal future. The effort needs to be focused on the two driving forces: being committed to sustainable tourism and gradually applying AI in the tourism sector. This will be a future where the country is going to gain most from its tourism sector in a sustainable manner. The people of New Zealand prosperous as the business grow, society thrives, and most importantly, the environment is safeguarded.